Hey guys, Cameron the Glorious Geeks here. And we're doing our first episode of Print and Pretzels. Just doing a quick audio check here. If you can hear me, drop me in the comments below that you can hear me. Is the video quality doing well out there? All right, so let's get this live stream cooking. So welcome to Print and Pretzels. So today is our very first episode, the first layer. We got our root beer, our printer, the Phrozen Arco. We just got it in 2 days ago. We're gonna break her in today. We're gonna take our very first request for a print from one of our fans. We got our pretzels here. And before we get started, I got one quick announcement. I still have not been contacted by our raffle winner for the 2025 Gold Coast Art Fair for the blue ticket. Again, I'll read it off here so that they are aware, and I'll give them another call probably tomorrow. The ticket number is 742003. Again, that's 742003. If I don't hear from them after I call them next, probably tomorrow, I'll give it about a week, and then if I don't hear it, I'll do another drawing for it. All right. So we're gonna have two different versions of Print and Pretzels. This version is gonna be our studio version, and then we're also gonna take it mobile once we get our newest but secret printer that's coming in the mail. I hope everyone's excited. So if you're watching, you can drop in the comments on what you would like to see printed on our newest printer. We will always use our newest printer on this live stream. On the mobile version of the live stream, we'll use our tiny but mobile printer, and you'll get to hang out with me and we'll eat some pretzels and print some stuff. So some of the things that I've been looking forward to printing, probably in the next couple of days, are some Gridfinity items, such as the rugged drawer system. I'd like to use that for the trolley system that I'm going to use for the mobile version of Print and Pretzels. So it'll be helpful to have all the printer parts and some small tools in case I need to work on the printer. Pretty excited about what's going to happen here. See how good of a turnout it is. Something I do need to let you know that if your print is selected and you are a Patreon member of a certain tier or higher, I will ship your print out to you after it's done. Also, when the print won't complete on Print and Pretzels, because we're going to stream for about an hour, you'll get to see the first couple of layers, and then when it's done, I'll drop a YouTube short of when the print is done and I'm pulling it off the printer. So I'm really excited about having the Arco printer. I backed it 2 years ago on a Kickstarter, and I honestly didn't think it was going to come to fruition. A lot of the, I shouldn't say a lot, I'd say probably a good portion of the initial backers on the Kickstarter decided to ask for a refund for their printer. But Frozen, it seems to be, I've printed some articulated lizards on this so far. I printed a couple of the benchies, and it seems like it does pretty well. One of the things that I've noticed that is not lined up, I guess, with the printer is the print time. The estimated print time is not anywhere close to where it's supposed to be. I would say it's for a 24-hour print, it will probably estimate 36 hours, and you'll be surprised, I guess, after that or before that. So you'll come down and your print will be completed. And but I am going to use Orca Slicer for this printer, since now this gives me 3 different printers from 3 different brands to use. Orca Slicer is a program that you can use for 3D printers, specifically, as far as I'm aware, of FDM printers. And it can switch between different brands and different build plates all on the same slicer, instead of having to use, say, for one from Elegoo or one from Bamboo, or the new Pix-Up slicer from Prusa, or not Prusa, Frozen, sorry, or any of the other printers out there. The more printers you get from different brands, the more complicated it can get. So I fully support Orca Slicer. This is a community-driven project, so it's open source. So it's very, very helpful for people who have different brands and models of printers. For the Phrozen Arco, it's not fully in the system yet, so you have to go to the Phrozen website and grab that file and upload it into your Orca Slicer C program files on your computer, and then it'll appear when you go to the menu to select your printer. So let's see here. Since we don't have too many streamers right now, I am going to do something real quick. I actually want to get this out to the Frozen people for this printer, as I don't think I've seen any live streams for this guy yet. So I'd like to get this over to that page and see if anybody joins us. Give me 2 seconds here. Hope everyone's having a good night. Hope you got some pretzels. We got some cheese crackers here too, from Ritz. I am a big fan of those. So the community that I'm reaching out to right now is the Kickstarter community for the Frozen Arco. We've been hanging around together for 2 years now, and I like to let them know that we're about to print something. If I can spell Arco. Something that would be helpful for everyone to know is that the Frozen Arco, while initially when we get it here is a single color, there is the Pentashield that comes with it, which is the enclosure, just like we have with the Elegoo Centauri Carbon and the Bamboo P1Ss. But more importantly, it comes with the Chroma Kit, which is their version of the AMS from multi-coloring system, so it can swap out different filaments. Theirs is going to be cool because it includes an included heater dryer for when you're printing. It actively heats and dries the air around your filament so it doesn't attract moisture, which can cause a lot of prints such as stringing, clogging, or print errors such as stringing and clogging. So as we get ready here, I am going to go to Maker World right now and download a file. I'm going to download the double height drawer set from K2 Kevin. I'll put that in the comments below, a link to their profile. Let's see here. Let's get this share button going. So that way you guys have access to this cool file that K2 Kevin, again, designed. He's got the, or I shouldn't say they got the rugged system, which works with Gridfinity, also stacks. I use some of that stuff for my Gold Coast Art Fair. The Gridfinity stuff is very helpful to have because I can use it in multiple different spots, and the bins I can take out and swap. They have lids. It's very, very useful. Let's get K2 Kevin's link here. Put that in the chat here. This is the file that I'm looking up right now. So let's get that show on the road. If anyone has any ideas on how I can do a screen share for you all on our next streams and future streams, that would be great, because I'd like to be able to show you exactly where I go to get these files. All right, let's get this going. Should be in my downloads now. The nice thing about the Arco is it's got a 300 by 300 millimeter build volume, which is excellent because as far as I'm aware of, it's bigger than any printers that I have behind me, and it allows me to print some bigger things to have that normally I would have to cut and slice differently in these smaller printers, such as the Elegoo Centauri Carbon or the Bamboo P1S. All right. So when you go to select these files, you can click the drop-down menu, and there is a slew of different files that you can do. I'm just downloading the 3MF file so that I can go over to Orca Slicer, go to File, Open Project, and I'll click on the 5x5 rugged double height drawer. So I am clicked on that. I'm going to switch over. So in Orca Slicer, you have different user presets as you can set up for your different printers. Right now I have Neptune 4 Pro by Elegoo in there. I also have the two Elegoo Centauri Carbons that I have in there, and the Bamboo P1S is in there, but I also have this uploaded now, so I should, in theory, be able to send this file from here to there wirelessly. It's the first time I've done it, so stay tuned to see if this works out the way I want it to. So I need to grab this, go to the, I did a little bit of a Pokemon reference for naming my printer. It's Arceus for the Phrozen Arco. Arceus is a Pokemon. If you don't know who that is, sorry that you missed that reference, but I'm a huge Pokemon fan. We're switching over to that profile right now. And right now, I'm going to print this in PLA because I don't, PLA is good for decorative things, sometimes functional things, as long as they're not exposed to a great amount of heat or a great amount of moisture, I would say. So I'm going to print this in PLA versus if it was going to be out in the sun or in a warmer room, I would print it in PETG. That is a more durable and heat tolerant filament type. So let us go in here and we're going to select Sunlu PLA Plus for the filament. I'm going to select black, and I'm going to slice this. And as that slices, I'm going to grab some of the black PLA filament that I have over here. Oh, actually, I got to walk off camera real quick as it's over on the other side of the room. Pardon my absence as we grab some filament. One of the cool things about the filament that we have here in the studio is I use the SCADA system to store our filament. What's nice about that is it keeps it up on the wall and keeps it organized. Someday here in the future, I will go through and make a video for you all on how I did all of these SCADA systems. I used it in our studio here. I used it in our transportation trailer. If you have any cool ideas on what we can name that trailer, it's basically where we store all of our prints and equipment for when we go to art fairs. So I was thinking hi Riley, don't you eat my crackers. I was thinking the Gadget Grotto. Kind of has a ring to it, kind of doesn't, but if you have any good ideas, drop them in the comments below. You can check don't knock the computer off, buddy. You can check our Etsy for any things that we've printed off that you like. Some things that we like to talk about here on the channel are checking out our Patreon so that you can get some cool rewards on there and support the channel. Get some of these guys some cat food. I mean, I'm just kidding. I got the cat food covered. But let's get this filament loaded. The cool thing about this filament loader is, unlike the Bamboo Lab P1Ss and the Elegoo Centauri Carbon, you don't have to, it was new for me to learn this, you don't have to heat the nozzle to unload it. You literally just push the filament cutter here on the side. I don't know if you can see it. It's the big lever on the side. Hey. Oh, it looks like we have a question in the comments. Yes, I am, David, I am using Orca Slicer. Do you have any other follow-up questions for that, David? I'll drop it in the comments too. I'll try to keep a better eye on the comments. First live stream, this is fun. So pushing the lever cuts the filament, and instead of having to wait for the nozzle to heat up, you can just back the filament out and it comes off the roll pretty easily. Something that I knew, or something that I'm doing, or noticed that I was doing this is, I was wondering how, for the chroma kit, is that going to work if you have to manually push the filament cutter. But over here on the side, when the nozzle goes to the left, you can see there's a button that it'll run into, and that's how it'll cut it. I thought that was pretty ingenious. For those of you that don't know much about the Phrozen Arco, what makes this printer different from, say, the Elegoo Centauri Carbon versus and the Bamboo P1Ss that we have. So David, you said that the profile that Phrozen published for Orca has a mistake. It leaves the temp at 200. You have to modify this start G code. Got mine over a week ago. Thank you. That's very helpful. I'll have to go in and do that. That's actually excellent to know. Pro tip, thanks for that comment. Put it in here. That would explain why my last print had a little bit of stringing on it. And I haven't checked to see, because I've only done probably 3 prints on this, that if you can adjust the temperature for the entire print after you start it. All right, so bear with me. This is only the second filament change that I've done for this machine. And I know this is not how you're supposed to set this up. I'll get that figured out here in a little bit for that. So I want to reply to that comment and it won't. Excellent information. Thank you. That's going to be super helpful. So now I'm gonna go to the front here, and so you can, I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but I printed a bunch of lizards on this earlier and it said it was complete, but I took them off the build plate already. Let's see. So I noticed for this printer, there's an unload filament option, but I don't know if anybody else has seen, but I have not seen a load filament option. So what I do is when I'm starting a new print, I load it in from Orca Slicer. It says this print's going to take 18 hours and 49 minutes. It says there's floating cantilevers in here, but I don't think that's true because as far as I'm aware of, all of K2 Kevin's rugged stuff is designed to to print without supports, which is great for me because then I don't got to go in there and paint supports. So I'm going to print this, and this filament that I chose to use is not Sunlu PLA, it is Sunlu Silk PLA. So I'm going to change that profile in here, and it's going to change the temperature so that silk prints print requirements are a little bit different as far as I'm aware of. Again, I'm still new to this streaming thing, but you have to print slower and at a higher temperature to really get that sheen on silk. Don't hold me to that though. Some people may have different experiences, and then that's okay. So I'm going to reslice this file, and it'll probably take longer, but that's okay because I want to have this looking really, really good for our mobile version of Print & Pretzels. It looks like it added about 10 minutes to it, so it's 18 hours and 49 minutes. And it'll take about 396 grams of filament, which is not bad for a 5x5 drawer system that stacks. So I'm going to click print. And what should happen here is it should go from Orca, Riley, you got to be nice to our other friends. And it should go from Orca Slicer to the printer, and then we should start to see the printer doing something. Right now it's uploading. It's at 95%. It's completed. Upload error to host. Okay. Why do we have an error? Upload and print. All right. We'll go back to so I can see the comments here. Who pulled the plug? David, when you got your Arco, were you notified that it shipped? Did you have any idea it was coming before you got it? Because I didn't know mine was shipped until probably a week, I would say 3 days before it got here. All right, so it's extruding the pink filament, and now, if I did this correctly, it should be extruding the black. It's hard to tell because it is black. Yep. I can feel the filament coming off the reel. Yep, same thing. I got a FedEx notification and boom, it was here. I'm really excited to get the Chroma Kit and the Pentashield, more importantly the Pentashield, because as you see I have furry employees and I can't run this really too much without something around it with the cats. All right, so we're moving and grooving now. Let's see what the front of the printer says. Hi, Riley. All right, it's uploaded. Right now, I believe it's calculating on how long the print time is going to take. So we saw on the slicer that it says it's going to take 18 hours. This will give me a chance to show you guys that how much of a discrepancy there is between the slicer and the, however the printer calculates its print time. You know, it's funny you say that about, David, about the A1 and the 4 tubes, because our surprise printer, no surprise, I wanted a small little mini printer to do the mobile print and pretzels with, and I'll probably do that on Monday nights. Yeah, the print time is way off on the display. Hopefully they can fix that in a later update. But we are getting the A1 Mini from Bamboo for that mobile show I'll take on the road. But I am also excited to see on how they're going to do the 4 PTFE tubes and see how that turns out. I'm glad that they're doing a heater because although I'm not sponsored by Bamboo, I did reach out to them about the new, not Bamboo, but I'm not sponsored by Sunlu either. I'm affiliated with them. I have affiliate links that I can put in there. But I reached out to Sunlu to see if they would send me one of the new AMS heaters that they did for the original AMS, because I have several of them, and they are sending me one for review. I'm super excited about that. So the heater in the Arco is going to be nice to have, especially if you're printing with like PETG and it's sat out for a little while. It will draw moisture, and that'll help get rid of that before you print with it. Let's see what the print time says now. Yeah, so again, just a reminder for everyone, the slicer said it was going to take about 18 hours. Well, now I'm looking at the display and it says remaining time on print, 221 hours. I think that's a little off. Sometimes my math doesn't math, but I think it is today. Do you have any of the AMS Pros? I've not noticed that, how it drops rapidly as it starts printing. The reason why I ask about the AMS Pros is because I noticed that one of the features on there is that it's supposed to be able to, I got one of them just to try it out. One of the features on there is supposed to be a filament dryer too, but I've noticed that, I don't know if Bamboo's going to do this later in an update or not, but you can't print off a roll and dry it at the same time. Or maybe I haven't figured it out yet. I will also say, when it comes to the bed leveling process and bed adhesion, I'm kind of an old school mindset that I also I use hairspray. Some people, I wouldn't recommend hairspray to everyone because there are, with electronics and stuff, that there is a fire risk when it comes to using hairspray. But how I mitigate that risk is, instead of spraying it near any of the machines, I will take the build plate several feet to maybe 6 feet away from the machine, spray it down, come back to the machine, and put it on there. It helps me with bed adhesion. It has since I've owned the Neptune 2s from Elegoo, all the way through to now with the Phrozen Arco. I tried printing without anything on the build plate just to see if things would stick, and I got mixed results on it. And the build plate is significantly bigger, which makes putting glue sticks on a lot longer. So I choose to use hairspray. Now, I would not, if you're going to do this for a home project or as a hobby at home, don't do what I do. There's your disclaimer. It works, but there's a risk associated with it. All right, we got her going. Let's see how this first layer goes down here. So far, so good. Man, I could have almost printed 2 of these on the size of this build plate. So this is a 5x5 drawer system for the rugged, for those of you that just joined us, for the rugged drawer system by K2 Kevin. And it looks a lot bigger in the slicer than it does on the build plate. I could have probably put 2 of them on here side by side. That's how big this build plate volume is. But this is only my probably 4th or 5th print on this machine. So I'm not super confident in doing something large like that yet. If you are just joining us, so what we're going to do here in Printing Pretzels from now until, I don't know, until we don't do Printing Pretzels anymore, and I plan on doing plenty of them, is I'd like to take file requests from some of our commenters, and I'll choose one. If you are a Patreon member and I choose your file, again, please keep these file requests PG or functional, but if you're a Patreon member of a certain tier higher, I will actually print this off in the color that you request and send it off to you. Just as a kind of a cool perk on our hang out and chill nights on Printing Pretzels. But so far so good. I've noticed with the Arco, and this might be an issue, and not really an issue, but might be a setting in my slicer. The first layer just go down a little slower than what it does in my Centauri Carbons and my Bamboo P1Ss. But the trade-off there is I haven't had any issues with it sticking, as long as I use my patented, potentially risky hairspray method. I could search for an M&M bust. That would be pretty cool. That's a good idea. Again, if you're joining us and you haven't heard that we have raffled off something, please check the live stream afterwards when we upload it so that we can get your prize out to you. We did 2 raffles at the Gold Coast Artisan Fair here in Ludington, Michigan. This is where that's the town we're based. It was a great, successful event. Thank you for everyone that came out there, supported us, from setup to teardown to those people that just came out and supported our channel and our booth. It was excellent to have so many different visitors, and our large grand prize is actually going to Arizona. It's our Rainbow Wyvern. It's going to have a new home out in Arizona. I'm very thankful that I printed it in Pet G, because that, from what I hear, Arizona gets a little hot out there. All right. So the first layer is going down pretty good. It's actually very smooth. In case you guys haven't noticed, we have a couple of race cats here in the studio going around right now. Riley, come here, buddy. But they had an interesting flavor to and fare to our studio here. Riley, come here, Riley. Come here, buddy. Come say hi to everybody. Come on. Come here. Come say hi. But I chose the silk PLA because I've had, and it's from Sunlu. It's black silk PLA. I've had it for a little while, probably 4 months. It's been in the package, still in its original plastic wrap, as you saw. But I wanted to see how well silk PLA handles in this printer. I've not used silk PLA in here. I've used translucent and I've used standard PLA, but not silk. Back when I had the Neptune 2S's, I had a real big issue with silk PLA clogging up my nozzles, but thankfully we've evolved and our printers have gotten much better. Thank you for Elegoo for the wonderful invention of the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. I'm very happy with both of mine. Those dragons are pretty cool. They were printed in PETG, and so they'll be resistant to any sunlight that they might be, warm sunlight that they might encounter in libraries. But I really like that blue gradient and the red gradient versions. So our plan for this live stream is going to be to stream for about an hour, so that way you can see the first layer or first couple layers of the print. And when the print completes, I'll post a YouTube short of me taking it off the build plate and showing everybody the reveal. Has anybody else used any of the Gridfinity systems? David, I don't know if you've used any of the Gridfinity or not. Oh, I was just reminded that I also need to explain that if you want your items, your requests printed, I need to have the file sent to me at thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com, or you can message us the link to the file on Facebook Messenger. So that way I can get the files prepped and stuff and have them ready for the live streams. If it's for the mobile version of Printing Pretzels, I'd ask to see if we can get that file sent over probably by Friday. That way I can get those ready, and so we can have a more fluid live stream. Thanks, David. I appreciate it. Some of the other things that we've printed on the channel, I try to do a blend of functional and fun. What is the coolest thing that I think I've printed? I mean, the dragon egg, the massive dragon egg that took 37 hours to print was pretty fun. It was pretty painful though, for the failure that happened during that process too, though. But the coolest thing that I've had to say that I've printed is going to be, printed so many things. I think the thing that made me the happiest to print was some D&D terrain by Aether Studios. There's a plug there for you. That was back in my early days of printing, and I'm going to put out another video by them here pretty short, or not by them, but for them, pretty shortly on the Port Elizabeth set that they have. I like that, the remix that they did. Oh, thank you for subscribing, David. I really appreciate it. I hope that we get more people churning in like you, and we can get some cool things going on. But I like to, my favorite thing I printed was from Aether Studios, and it was the Port Elizabeth set. And for those of you that are into D&D and things like that, you can use the terrain pieces either stand alone by themselves, or you can get a play mat that has like texture on it, like outer space or ocean or stuff. And that Porter Elizabeth set can function as a ocean pier system or a space station gate system. It's pretty cool. For our mobilize, it'll be a very similar setup like this. I'll have a little cart made that has the tiny A1 mini and the 4 filament rolls on them. And I'll do the same thing. I'll take a print. This print has to be able to print in 8 hours or less. That's the key to that. So thank you for that question, Abby. And it won't print on the go per se. What it'll do is I'll start it at the beginning of the live stream, and it will print overnight. Because of the job that I have to travel on Mondays, so I stay in a hotel room overnight on Monday nights. So I will print that overnight at the hotel on Mondays, and I'll hang out with you guys for about an hour on Monday nights, and we'll do the Print and Pretzels there, mobile version. I hope that answers your question. So looking at the first layer, it's completed, and there's no bubbling in the first layer. There's no streaking to where it looks like the filament's not adhering correctly, or there's any moisture in it. So that's good. So that means the packaging that came with the Sunlu filament is doing its job and keeping moisture out. But as you can see, the printer head is moving much faster after that initial first slow layer to help with the bed adhesion. Just checking the comments here on YouTube real quick, make sure I haven't missed any. Oh, I see, Dave, you said you printed some of the Gridfinity for small electronics. I just like the way that I don't know, they're versatile, and I can use them from one place to another, and they all lock in together, and it's very convenient. Ideally, I think I would like to get this live stream going to where, and maybe you got to use something like Twitch or something that can stream to multiple platforms at once, because I'd like to do Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So that way I can reach out to a broader audience. So looking at the, excuse me, file in Orca Slicer, it looks like it's going to be a pretty tall file when it's done. If I had to guess based on the build volume, it's probably going to be about this tall, maybe about this tall on the printer. Something to note about the Arco printer, I think I covered this before, but the flying gantry, you know, the printer moves up and the bed stays where it's at. That's different than any other printers that I've seen, that I own anyways. And what's unique about that, and I'm curious to see for the time-lapse videos, is the positioning of the cameras on the flying gantry. So with my Bamboo Lab P1Ss and my Elegoo Centauri Carbons, those time lapses, you get to watch the build plate go down as the item gets built up. This is going to be reversed. You're going to see the items still going to go down, but it's not. It's going to be the camera is going to move up the item. It's going to be interesting to see the difference. Looks like my computer came unplugged here real quick. I gotta plug her back in. I think some of my racetrack friends here unplugged me. Yes, they sure did. Hi, Dante. You chilling with us? Printing pretzels? Yeah. Actually, I'm going to have to find a pretzel file. So one of these days, I'm going to print off a pretzel and send it to somebody. Don't eat it. I would not recommend that. Let's see if Maker World has a pretzel that we can print. Yep, they sure do. They have a pretzel we can print. Oh, yeah, you got it. See? All right, yeah, David, that's what you meant. I see, yeah, that's what you meant by pull the plug. David says, saw someone post a video today on YouTube. They got the Chroma and Pentashield. I'm curious with the 4PTF E-tube thing. How are they going to support multiple chromas? This is a guess. Is if they're going to do multiple chroma kits, they're going to have to come up with some sort of hub system, or some way to get the 4PTFE tubes into one at some point. As long as this printer has been in development, I would hope that they have developed that already, and we don't have to wait another 2 years for the chroma kit. Also, for the Elegoo Centauri Carbons, I don't know what they're going to call it yet, but their multi-material system is supposed to come out in Q3 of this year. And I'm really excited about that because obviously I have the two Centauri Carbons on that. Being able to print multicolor prints on 5 machines versus 3 is going to be game changing for me. And then eventually 6 when I get this. Well, 7 with the A1 Mini. Having the different printers and just having fun with the print and spending time with you guys, learning and demonstrating and hanging out is kind of what we're going to do here on Printing Pretzels. Let's see if I can figure out the surveys here. It's their first FDM. They may not have thought it all through. Anchor Make, they said they had an all-metal hot end, and they really didn't. That's true. I did see that the Anchor Make did do that. It may take a little while to develop, which is okay, because at least they got the printer to us, and we can use the printer to print the single color items that I print off from time to time. Actually, I'd say if I had to put percentages on it, and don't want me to do this, but I think I do 40% of my prints in single color and the other 60 in multicolors. But that's because I sell things. A lot of the single color prints that I do are like the Gridfinity things, or the, I don't know if you can see in the back behind me here, but how the SCADAS pegboard connects to these B-Roar posts. And hey, IKEA, I'm out here if you want to hang out with me. These connectors right here, I printed them in PETG. Let's see if I can find that file real quick. Type in SCADAS. And I'll put it in the comments, and when I go to do this video again, I'll also put it in there as well. Where did I put that? Oh, I think I have it in my Maker World Saves. All right. Under my profile, user profile, and collections. So if you want to see the things that I collect and like on my Maker World profile for bamboo, you can search the Glorious Geeks and you can see some of the things I printed or would like to print. And under my collections, you'll see a collection that says SCADAS, and I believe, let's double check before I say that, that they're in there. Nope, the Gridfinity shelves are that I use. Let me get those other things in here real quick. SCADAS connector. Oh, it's SCADAS to B-Roar. And here it is. I'll put that in there real quick and you'll be able to see that. I'll also drop it in the comments. So that way, if anyone ever has any questions like the organization that we do here on the channel, I love me some SCADAS and I love some IKEA. All right, there's that. I'm copy the link once I click on it. So this will connect it to the B-Roar system, the SCADAS to the B-Roar. It's also going to be used in the cart that I'm going to be talking about. I'll also have a pegboard on that. It's a part of the B-Roar system. It's the B-Roar trolley that I'll be using. All right, check up in the comments here. Yeah, I would say that, are you saying that Anchor Make is a solid printer or the Frozen? I don't have any experience with Voron printers. I've heard good things about them, but I've never had owned one myself. So we're moving quite along here. I don't see any lifting on the corners, so that's a good sign. I would hate for this to be printed off and yeah, the lifting on the corner happens and I can't fit the drawer inside of it. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know Anchor Make exited the FDM printers. I mean, it is getting kind of crowded. I was looking at the Flash Forge printers today too. It seems like they just released a new printer. Can't remember what it's called right now. It was like ANK4 or something like that. And that one I wasn't too interested in because for me, for the channel, I like to have the time-lapse footage and they didn't have an integrated camera with it. I could always put one in afterwards, but it's just easier for me, for time-wise, is to make sure that it already has one in it in decent quality. So it looks like we've got the first two layers down, and now we're starting the infill for the outside of the drawer system. So this print is going to print up like this, but when it's finished, it needs to sit down like this so you can slide the drawer in and out. Let me see if I can Did I post that in the comments when we started? Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the multi-tool head printers. They look nice. They look cool. What was it? There's one out there that has, it's like 4 tool heads, and it goes into the back and it locks in and then switches out. Your boy Ash, I'm printing a Gridfinity drawer or Gridfinity container that you can slide a drawer in and out. It's going to be roughly 18 hours to print. This will go on our cart for Pretzels Mobile Edition. If you guys can think of a little bit more of a catchy name on that, drop it in the comments or send it to us on Facebook. I can agree with the less waste and time, so that way we're not having piles of poop. I got big bins behind here you can't really see, but the filament waste can add up. I'm hoping that with the multi-tool heads coming out and the multicolor systems coming out, I hope we get a bigger printer that can multicolor. So far as I'm aware of, the Arco is the biggest one I've seen. Wonder Maker? Let me check that out real quick so I can save it for later. Is it the ZR Ultra? Four tool heads, 24 colors. That's like a blend of the H2D and God, what is the other printer that I'm thinking of? Is it the Creality? And I wonder how their multi-color system's going to be. I'll have to look into that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. That's pretty cool. What's their build size going to be? Trying to see. Don't want to watch the YouTube video right now because I'm on YouTube. I'll have to see what size their build size is going to be. I'm super excited. If they can come out with something just slightly bigger than the Arco, that would be nice for a multicolor system. I did see it as a Kickstarter. Frozen's got me a little PTSD on the Kickstarter printers, though. 2 years is a long time to wait for a printer. Actually, it might not be quite 2 years yet, but we're getting pretty close. I think it was last July when they announced the delay. I was just like so heartbroken because I was looking forward to it. 300 by 300 by 300. Okay, I think that's about the same size as this one. I was actually really surprised on the Arco how quiet it is. Oh, because of the four heads being smaller. The H2D was like that too. And I don't know if the laser engraver part of that made it smaller too. What I was going to say about the Arco. The Arco's build volume is almost where I need it to be. I would like to be 350, somewhere around there. So it looks like now we're printing more infill. No lifting yet, that's good to see. Did the Anchor Make M5 Kickstarter waited an extra year for their 6-head extruder that they ended up and canceled? Did you end up getting your money back for that when they canceled it? I hope you did. I'm sorry if you didn't. I thought they were going to cancel this one. I was kind of scared. 2 years into it, and I'm like, oof. I don't know if they're going to keep going or if they're going to exit it, but I'm glad it's here now. It's printing great. Oh, super quiet. And because of the flying gantry, I've noticed, so I'm not really like leaning on my table or anything right now, but there's not any vibrations on it. The Centauri carbons, more or less than the Bamboo P1Ss, they all have a vibration to them because of their, I'm glad they gave you refunds. Because of their vibration, they wobble, and I don't know, some people think that'll affect their print quality, some people don't. But it's the higher center of gravity. That's why they do that. This flying gantry making the print stationary, I think, is going to be game-changing for printers now. I'm going to be interested to see if more printer brands adopt this type of model. Oh, I didn't know they went to Eufy Make. Yeah, A&W root beer. It's pretty good. 0 sugar. I got to watch my sugar intake. But let's try not to get this on my computer, though. And they could not back their new UV printer. Yeah, I don't blame you. Once the reputation is tarnished, it's hard to back them. Like if Frozen released another Kickstarter, I would probably be like, okay, I got to prepare myself emotionally for the R&D, the research and development after the Kickstarter launches or finalizes. Yeah, Bamboo did spoil us for speed, didn't they? They took the game to a whole new level. I'm hoping they release something bigger like the H2D. I don't really need the laser engraver. I have one. I have the Elegoo Fecta laser, and I don't use it that much for different things. I wonder if there's things that like some of my prints I could laser engrave or something, but then I could just program it in the slicer and have it do it as it prints. Bondtech INDX. Bondtech INDX. Oh, that's I bet that's going to be some pricey tech. Automatic tool changer, full steel drivetrain. I wonder what the price tag on that's going to be. Of course, I was surprised with the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. I thought for sure we were going to be looking at a $499 or more printer, and it came out $299 with the enclosure. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. I've seen those leaks too, and I also saw the H2D leaks ahead of time too. What have you seen from the H2S? Is it just going to be a bigger size, or is it going to be oh, is it really? The INDX is cheap? See, that's kind of why I like this Print and Pretzels format, because we all learn something together. We get to geek out together. Single nozzle. Welcome to Print and Pretzels, Iceman 74. Since you're just joining us, Iceman, we're going to be doing Print and Pretzels. I know I'm doing it on Friday night right now. This is kind of like our test run for this. I'm going to do 2 versions of Print and Pretzels. One is going to be on Wednesday nights from 8 to 9. This will be our studio version. And then I'll also do another one on Monday nights, which will be our mobile version because of my job. I travel. And Monday nights, I stay overnight in a hotel. And I'll have an A1 Mini going at the hotel, and I'll hang out just like in this format. I'll have a little trolley cart, and we print things off together and talk about things that are happening in the printing and 3D world. Single nozzle use all the build plate. Well, that's pretty. Yeah, that's something nice about this. This uses the entire build plate. There's no like extruder exclusion area. But back to the Print and Pretzels thing. For the Monday night format, I asked that by Friday nights, if you want me to print a file, it's got to be PG, functional or fun, and I need that emailed to me by Friday nights at thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com. I'll put that here in the chat again. Oh, you saw it on the Frozen. Cool. I was wondering if everybody was going to see that on this. I'm really excited about getting this printer. We've all waited for so long to get it. But here's that email, thegloriousgeeks01@gmail.com. You can send the files, send the link to the files there. Don't send me the actual files. And I'll go and I'll check them out. Wednesday nights we'll print with the Phrozen Arco, and Monday nights we'll print with the A1 Mini on the mobile version. All right, your boy Ash, take care. Yeah, I was actually really surprised at how affordable it was. So right now we're for a recap for Iceman 74, we're printing some of the a Gridfinity bin. I posted it up in the comments above. After this, I'll probably put it in the description. I don't know if I can do it right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, I can put it in there for now. I'm printing by K2 Kevin some Gridfinity storage drawers. This is the case that they slide in and out of. I just gotta go back and get it. But ideally, I would like to print things from you guys, suggestions. And if you're a Patreon member and your suggestion is chosen, I'll actually at the end of it, I'll send it off to you in the mail. The cool thing about this, I'll print after it's done printing, because on the live stream I won't finish, most likely. I'll put out a YouTube short of, hey, this is what we printed on Print and Pretzels this week. It's finished on the printer, and you guys will get to see it later on too as a short. All right, where is that file? I know I did it. I'll do it this way. Rugged. Keep an eye on the chats here. So this is part of the rugged drawer system, but he's got K2 Kevin has a whole different, a whole system designed around the rugged stuff that works with the Gridfinity system. And I got this file over on MakerWorld. If you want to check it out, it's in the description now, or it's in the chat, and now it's going in the description. And I'll update the description as we go. I'm learning this live stream thing as we go. It's fun though. It's definitely fun, especially to get like comments and feedbacks and questions. It's really, really fun. Normally these, I'm going to do a little bit of a longer one tonight, but normally these will be about an hour. You'll get to see the first few layers of whatever the requested print is, and so on and so forth. I'm really excited to see what it's going to be like with the mobile format. Anytime you take something mobile, things get a little more complicated. I'll have to make sure things are packed and ready to go. Starlink, fortunately, I hope the hotel that I'm staying at has sufficient internet to live stream. If not, I may have to look into Starlink, or I use AT&T for a mobile service, so maybe, or an AT&T wireless device. I don't know about any of you guys, but watching a printer just print, I don't know how many times or how many hours of my life I've wasted just watching a printer. Let's see, just so I can make sure I keep track of what I'm doing. Oh, cool. So this rugged drawer system, it also has a label that you can print the labels for. That's pretty neat. You're correct. Thank you for that. I'll edit that right now if I can, or I'll remove it. Thank you for noticing that typo. The Glorious Geeks 01 at gmail.com. So our first official print and pretzels is going to be on the 21st. I'll probably change a few things around, but this will be the format that you see the most for that. And here's that official email that's got no typos in it. And if you are a Patreon member and you send me the email, please note in there that you are a Patreon member, so I can make sure that when I do print the file off, I can get it out to you. For the A1 Mini, for the mobile version, please make sure that the print is no longer than, or estimated, best guess is no longer than 7 to 8 hours. Because it is an overnight print that I'll do, but it's got to be finished by the next morning because I have to exit the hotel and go to work. Also, Iceman 47 or 74. David Walton pointed out earlier, I don't know if you can see it in the comments before or not, but it was a super helpful comment that Frozen for the Orca slicer has an error in the G code that automatically puts this, I think it was the start temp at 200. So if you're using Orca slicer, make sure you go in and edit that G code so that it doesn't cause any issues. Iceman, do you have any, what printers do you have, or have you run, or do you run printers? Oh, you're an early backer that still hasn't got your printer? Yikes. Are you located in the US? You have 15? I hope to get there someday. Having that many, I would qualify that as a print farm for me. Are you located in the US? Because I noticed just on the Facebook site, I've noticed that the printers that are located towards California, and I'm in the Midwest here in Michigan, I see like they're slowly making their way across the United States. So I would think that you would get yours pretty soon. I was just talking to David earlier in the stream that I didn't know my printer was coming until like 2 days before it got here, and it's like, hey, by the way, we've shipped it. And it was only the fact that I got a FedEx notification. I didn't get anything from Frozen. They just sent it out, which was a nice surprise. But you also, I don't know if this was for everyone, but I had to sign my package. If I wasn't home, I wouldn't have got it because it has to be signed for. Oh, thank you, David. I appreciate the start code or start G code. Well, we're doing pretty good so far on this. There's no, looks like I got a little bit of cat hair in my print, but other than that, there's no issues with the print. And cat hair in a print is totally a thing around here. You were a backer in the 250s and have had it for 2 weeks. Oh, you didn't have to sign for it, David. That's interesting. Wonder why they did that. I should say I own 15 random printers, not all Frozen. Yeah, I try to be a brandy as far as printers go. I started with the Neptune 2S's, and I loved those printers. Back in the day, I loved Elegoo's printers because they worked. They took a lot of maintenance because of the potent extruders that were on there. But once I got that bamboo printer, the first P1S, that was a world changer. And now Elegoo's in the game with the same type of printers with the Centauri carbons. So I'm leaning towards them again. I still had a couple issues with the first Elegoo, and I was like the early receiver of that printer. But since then, so this was the first one that I got, and I still haven't figured out quite why it has an issue with the resume function, if the filament runs out or if the power goes out. Haven't quite figured out why it does that. I've got on the Elegoo's Discord website, I got a Q&A out there on that for that one. But I don't have the same issue on my second one. The second one, it's got an upgraded light in there. It makes it so much brighter. So they're learning as they go, and they're implementing it as they go, and I'm very proud of them for that. I know. Which Elegoo was it? You started on an Ender 3, Iceman? That's nice. The 3D printing world has come a long way. I don't know what backer I was. Hold on, let me find out. Kickstarter. Oh, we gotta log in. I wonder if it remembers me. I know I wasn't like a super early bird backer, but I think I was right up there. So let's go to Phrozen Arco 3D printer. I know it tells you in here somewhere what backer you were. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? View, oh, there it is. View pledge. It should be there. Backing details. I was backer number 290-ish. We won't go tell exactly which one it is. And I've had mine for probably about a week. So before I moved to Michigan from Florida, I had an Elegoo 4 Neptune, or an Elegoo 4 Max, and it was a beast. That build plate was huge. I printed some pretty big things on there. As far as my favorite printer so far, I don't know. It's hard to choose. These Centauri carbons were probably it if they were multicolor, color capable. The price point is great. You have to work on them a little bit more than the Bamboo P1S's. That's the trade-off. I've had a couple nozzle clogs on this one versus, you know, the 3 years I've owned these, I've only had to change out the nozzle a couple times. If you keep the upkeep on them. All right, so far so good. No layer shiftings. Looks like we're doing pretty good. The silk's turning out pretty good. It looks like it's going slow enough and hot enough for it. It's not got any like bubbles or mis-extrusion. You have P1S and Anycubic S1, and for me, it's the price point. Like when Elegoo comes out with their multi-color system, I'm curious to see how competitive it is to the P1S, because the P1S, I love mine. Like, no joke, I've got one of my printers right now is printing like a 2-day print for a multicolor. But if Elegoo can compete with that and still have that low price point, that would be hard for me to beat. As long as I don't got to work on it. That's the pro for the P1Ss. I feel like I don't have to work on them as much as if I had to. I've changed an extruder or a nozzle probably twice on the Elegoo Centauri Carbon. And I don't think I had to do that at all for the first 3-4 months when I first got a P1Ss. Snapmaker U1. I haven't heard of that one. It's hard to you know, keep up with the 3D world sometimes. I still have the Elegoo Mars, I want to say 4 Ultra. No, 5 Ultra. I think it's the 5 Ultra, and it's the Saturn 4 Ultra. I still have that, and I haven't really got around to using that. But resin is a whole different beast. 4 tool head color changer. Snapmaker U1. Let's check it out. Snapmaker U1. What's the build volume on that thing? That's another thing that I look at a lot, is build volume, because if it's a multicolor one, it's great. That's the first checkbox for me. And then the second is the build volume. If we can get a bigger build volume, means you can fit more, print more. Someday I want to get my hand on the Gigastorm. It's not multicolor, but that thing has gotta be massive. I was watching Uncle Jesse's channel, shout out to him, and that thing can print out some big stuff. Trying to get to that, see what, okay, $6.79, that's not bad for early bird deposit. Tell me what your build volume is. 5 times less filament, that's good to see. Okay, so now the printer is shaking a little bit when it's moving as fast as possible. Well, not as fast as possible, but when it's moving and grooving. But it was only for that brief second of time. Manage your print cycle pro. It looks like it's got a nice touch screen. Looks like it's got a AI interface to notice errors and stuff on the print bed. Specifications 270. Okay, that's not a bad build volume. It's a little bit bigger than the P1S's. I wonder if it has a exclusion area like the P1S's and Centauri Carbons do. Yes, he gets some crazy. That giant frog that he printed on that thing was wild. I don't know where I would put that in my house. It's a good thing he's got his own studio. And that Giga does need his own apartment. I would love to own one day, but I would have to make some sort of enclosure around it or put it in a separate area where I don't have my furry friends. I'd hate for them to get stuck on it or something happen to them. I've got a power filter exhaust out of here that goes outside the studio just to make sure that the environment is as friendly as possible for them. And I try not to print anything that's harmful. Do a video living in the Giga. Yeah, I think that thing has 4 print heads on it too, or you can get 4 print heads to put on it. $12 PTFE tubes going into it. It's the Yumi. It goes up to something like 435. Okay, now you got me intrigued. 435. Yumi 3D printer. I've never heard of Yumi though, so I don't know. Looks like they got their printers decked out. Oh my God, I see what they're talking about. Pardon my religious French. I see what you're talking about. The filament things that go into it, 12 of them. Got it up on a rack on the wall. What do they want for that? I'd be interested to see if they have any other printers out. I'm not seeing. Is this their entry into the 3D world, or? The LEDs around it are nice. The RGB LEDs, I will say those caught my eye. Not that they're important for printing, but with my ADHD, they stuck out. Oh, they have different models too that you can back. Yep, the C435 has a ironically 435 by 435 build volume, up to 12 colors. It'll work with Orca Slicer, which is nice because I use Orca Slicer for all my stuff, and I can imagine that. Okay, it is entry. All right. French company. Oh, I would have never thought. Well, I shouldn't say never thought, but I would have pictured a French company getting into the game. That's kind of cool. So it looks like so far that I can tell it's super fluid. There's no, the best way I can describe it is, so like when you see the printer lines in there, sometimes that, you know, you can see spaces in it to where, you know, the extruder's not working properly, the flow's not right. I don't see any of that. It looks like everything's adhered well. Again, disclaimer, I'm kind of old school when it comes to using hair spray on the build plate. Again, if you do that, do it at your own risk. It is possibly a fire hazard in some way, shape, or form. I make sure that I take my build plate off and I take it away from the printer. It's important to do that so that there's no overspray, anything else can catch fire. And I try to do it by one of our windows here. So that way any overspray goes outside with the ventilation. Oh, question for you guys that have gotten your printer. When you got it, did you know where, did you see anywhere in there where they told you to put the PTFE tube to connect it? I have not seen anywhere in the manual to where you connected it. Because I used a couple zip ties to get mine to stay up there. Man, I gotta get to eat my pretzels. Welcome, Andrew. There's a coupler and it screws on the top back. Not very secure, but it works. Would it be on the top back where near the spool holder or on the other side? I see there's 2 holes back here, but there's 2 on the other side as well. I did see the coupler. I do have that. I just don't know where. I didn't see where it's supposed to go. Because I see where I think that the Penta shield is going to screw to the frame. On the center of the back rail on top of it. Oh, you know what? It's funny you say that because, you know, they put an orange arrow right there. So probably after the live stream, I'll put the coupler on there and get rid of the zip ties. Or would you suggest keeping the zip ties if the coupler's not very secure? Just hard to screw it in all the way. Okay. I'll make sure to make note of that. Have you guys noticed on how to get the time-lapse footage off of the printer? I was kind of messing around with it with an Orca slicer. I don't have the picks up slicer downloaded. Because ideally, I like to, for content purposes, for the print and pretzels, take the live stream footage and mix it with the time-lapse footage of the print. Oh, I don't know if any of you guys know this or not, but do you know if the Sunloo spools work on the A1 Mini? If not, I'd like to print some adapters ahead of time for the print and pretzels for Monday nights. Let's see if Maker World's got anything like that. Sunloo AMS Lite adapter. It does look like they do have an adapter for it. A1 Mini has an adapter that holds all spools. It's a screw-on adapter. Is that on Maker World? Or is it something I would purchase from Bamboo? Trying to find things on Maker World is hard, and it's not because you can't find them. It's because I can get distracted on the thousands of other things that I want to print. So the first Print and Pretzels official live stream will be the 21st. That'll be our first studio one. Only way to time lapse is through the Pix-Up slicer. I haven't tried just going off posting the Facebook. Okay, that's good information to have. So I'll download that and see if I can get them off of there, because that'd be important to have for our channel. And as far as the live streams go for the Print and Pretzels, Wednesday nights will be in the studio and Monday nights will be on the road. Oh, and it's the 20th, I'm sorry. Thank you, Abby, for correcting me. The 20th, it's a Wednesday night. This coming Wednesday night will be the first studio live one. And then the following Monday will be, assuming that we have, well, I mean, I'll do it either way, but assuming that the A1 Mini has gotten here by that time, we'll have a Print and Pretzels mobile going then. And then my goal for that one is to print, to get some stuff printed for the cart that I'll have to go with the A1 Mini. I'm going to look a little silly going into the hotel room with a cart with a printer on it, but hey, maybe I can have somebody shoot some shorts video footage for me. It'd be pretty funny. Get some people looking at me a little weird. Let's see what layer we're on in Orca Slicer. So go to the device tab. I do see that you can monitor stuff in the device tab in Orca Slicer. Hey, I can see myself on the time-lapse footage. The hard part about it is in Orca Slicer, it's not in the language I would prefer, that I shouldn't say prefer, that I can read. It's not in English, so it looks like it's hard to decipher. but it does look like you can interface with at least the camera. I don't know how you would pull it off through there. Maybe there's a way I can adjust what language it is. I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to see if I can't get some sort of screen share going on for these print and pretzels, so that way you guys can see what I'm checking out. iRupert AMS light spool falling adapter. That's the hardest thing with the AMSs in general, is because the 3D filament world, there's so many different spool sizes there. I printed, I don't know, probably about a dozen adapters for just the Elegoo rolls, just to have them, because I use Elegoo filament pretty frequently. iRupert is the creator. All right, let me see if I can't find them. iRupert. AMS light spool falling adapter. AMS light falling spool adapter. Oh, I see it. Okay. Is it got a picture of a red and white, or a white thing and then a red screw on? Not everything will change, but you can change most of the language in the fluid interface by going to the gear and changing the display language. Second option down to the browser default. Oh, the fluid as in like typing in the IP address. I see what you're saying. Let me see if I can't get that off of the printer real quick. Wow. I wonder if it tells you on the front of the printer while it's printing what the IP address is. Very, very, very small. Okay. Okay, the fluid interface, the gear icon. Okay, cool. And I got the right one. Cool. I'll print off a couple of those, so I have those ready for Print and Pretzels mobile edition. I gotta figure out a better name for that though. Funnier name. All right, the gear icon, and make sure I follow your directions accordingly. Change most of the language in the fluid interface by going to the gear and changing the display language section. Second option down to browser default. Second option down to browser default. That changed a lot of things. That was super helpful. Thank you. Now let's see. I wonder if it, let's see if it carried over to Orca Slicer. It sure did. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. So we learned something tonight, new tonight. Cool. And you're right, it didn't change everything, but it changed a lot. I can read a lot more now. All right, so I'll probably wrap up the live stream right around the 2-hour mark if we haven't gotten, yeah, we got about 14 minutes until the 2-hour mark, just so that we can get a good base layer. And I appreciate you guys attending the live stream, helping me out, and getting things going. Learning something new every day. Top field is printer name. The second one is display language. Okay, let's see. Top field is printer name. Oh, that's weird. Mine says printer name 14 number. See if we can't change that. Yeah, changed it. Top field is printer name, second one is display language. Yeah, I changed the printer name in the fluid interface to Arceus. Pokemon reference. If you guys have any other printers, drop them in the comments so I can know and learn about them. I like it. I enjoy doing research. At the past craft fair that we had, the Gold Coast Artisan Fair I think it was last week. I was talking to people about their printers. A lot of the kids were like, I have this printer and I don't know why it's doing this. And I'm like, well, that's the coolest thing about printers is, well, not coolest, but one of the cool things about printers is you get to learn about them. And a lot of them were like, well, I don't know what's going on with my slicer, or I'm like, well, make sure that you're plugging in the right filament profiles and things like that. I actually had one of them message me and said that was what their fix was. It's like, oh, I had a PET G profile on and I'm printing in PLA. I'm like, well, you're probably printing too hot then. So it's cool. It's cool being able to help us all learn in this hobby and grow together. So a question for you guys. What was the initial reason that you backed the Frozen Arco? Mine was, I liked the idea of the flying gantry and the center of gravity for the printer, and obviously the bigger build plate. They don't always say bigger is better, but for printing, I was excited about it, and I hope that once we get the chroma kit and the enclosure, that this becomes a workhorse printer for me, and it would have been the biggest color printer at the time. You're correct, it would have been the biggest color printer at the time, and that's what had me so excited. I love my P1Ss. They're absolutely phenomenal. They have the same, as far as I'm aware of, they have the same build size as at the time the X1 Carbon. And so I'm like, I don't need the LiDAR and stuff like that for the price point. I try to keep printing budget friendly as much as I can, but I wanted a bigger one and nobody else had one. Yes, open source is important. I have a T2 Mingda Magician printers and always seem to have to fight with them. Yeah, I agree. I think that was my biggest frustration back in the day with the Elegoo Neptune 2S's. I felt like I was always fighting with those Bowden extruders. And then when they got rid of them, I went to direct drive. Life got better. Company rep and the stationary bin. Yeah. At the time, I didn't know much about Frozen. I know they were heavy into the resin world, but I didn't. Through the research of the Kickstarter, I realized that this was their entry into the FDM, which is, I would have pictured it being the other way around. And the stationary bed, I agree, it's different, and I like that. And with that center of gravity being different, I was wondering how it would affect the printing. And so far, this print here will be the biggest thing I've done height-wise on this. So I'm curious to see if we get any lines as they come up with like the Z-axis. Pull, see if there's any wobble. All right. So we got about 10 more minutes on the live stream. So we're getting to the height now to where I'm starting to see the separation, or not separations, but the Gridfinity dividers for the bottom and the top where they interlock together so you can stack them. And they're turning out pretty clean. The silk is turning out very shiny, so that means it seems like everything's extruding properly. Let's see how long it says that. Orca Slicer says left. Okay, that's interesting. So I've gone back into Orca Slicer to see the estimated time remaining, and it looks like that whatever the calculation for it on the printer says there's still 72 hours left. I know that's not correct because the original print time that we discussed at the beginning was 18 hours. So Frozen, that's the only thing so far that I have to complain about is that calculation of the print time. It's kind of a small thing because the functionality is there. It is absolutely there so far. I want to see this tall print come off the printer tomorrow and see what, if and any flaws are in there. I'm not even using Frozen's material. I'm using Sunlu's Silk PLA. I programmed it into Orca Slicer with that filament profile on there. For those of you that aren't aware, Dave pointed out earlier in the live stream that the Orca Slicer profile that you download from Frozen has an error with the G code. It automatically starts at 200 instead of whatever temperature it's supposed to be. So that's something I wanted to recap for you guys that have just joined us. And if any of you are wondering why the printer is seemingly going slow, it is because I'm printing with that silk. It hotter and slower seems to be better with that material, at least for me. Oh, have you guys noticed how big the poop chute slot is in the back? I didn't realize it until the other day. It prints at 1,000 millimeters per second. I didn't notice that it said that. I thought it was 600. I'm gonna have to test it out in one of these. It's like, all right, let's see how fast we can push this thing. We'll do quality and then speed, and then someday we'll print an actual pretzel. Don't eat it. Don't print and eat pretzels unless it's a food printer. Do they make those yet, though? Yeah, I haven't been to the Frozen site in a minute. Frozen Arco. Frozen. Oh, the price on the printer, okay. $7.79. Have we seen anybody print that fast though with this yet? Like live stream or even not even live stream, like even if it's time lapse footage? Still not seeing where it says how fast it can print. Bond text, Frozen standard nozzle. Okay, there's the nozzles. I'll check the comments in a second, guys. I'm just trying to see where that print speed is advertised. Specifications probably. Up to 1,000 millimeters per second. Acceleration up to 40,000 millimeters per second. Okay, yeah. Now the question is, what material can print that fast? Because everything that I see, yes, make all an all chocolate one. For the material, is there a material that you can print that fast? I know all the Sunlu stuff I said only advertises up to 600. And if it's PETG, I think it's a little slower than that. I think Elegoo's is about the same between 500 and 600. Because if that's true, 1,000 millimeters, that's fast. That's twice as fast as what one of my bamboos I usually run. Maybe even a little bit more than that. So you have the S1 Pro and it prints high speed, clean. What filament do you use with it? When you're printing high speed? Elegoo? Okay. It sounds like a jet. Yeah. I'm sure those fans are working. I know. I think the first thing I noticed about the Elegoo Centauri Carbon when we got that earlier this year was the fan difference. I noticed that the fans were a little bit louder. It's not too bad. I mean, it's worth it for the price difference for me. But I'm curious to see when they release that multicolor system, how competitive it is with the P1S, because I'm debating on the next printer that we get someday is one of those two, or maybe another Arco if it turns out to be great. Multicolor is what we've been doing a lot of for our craft fairs, our Etsy shop, things like that. Like I said, I think I said earlier, I print somewhere around single color 40% of the time and 60% of the time on multicolor. One of my fans stays running on my Elegoo Centauri Carbon. I don't know if you're on the Discord or not for Elegoo Iceman 74, but I do believe they have a fix for that on there. Or at the very least, I know that there's an open, like an open Discord ticket. I can put the link below or link in the description for you real quick if you're not, because I am on that Elegoo channel. Let's see if I can't get you an invite to the channel. Elegoo, invite people, copy. Copying the link right now. When you go on there, you'll just select your role. And select the Elegoo Centauri Carbon in the role. And there's a lot of tickets. I even have a ticket in there right now because I haven't figured out why my first edition Centauri Carbon, I don't have this, this is my first edition one. That's the second one that I got a little bit later in the year. I cannot figure out why this printer does not resume properly from its, like if a power loss happens or if the filament runs out, it does not find it the right location. That one, then the second version doesn't have that problem. So that's something that I'm trying to troubleshoot through too. So they do have their quirks that they're working out, but this is their, I think this is their entry printer into their Core XY, unless you count, of course, the Giga. I think they will beat Bamboo once they go. I think so too. I think it's going to be close. Bamboo is going it's going to at least make them more competitive for their pricing. Bamboo will have to do something. I think they'll still be the pioneers for now, unless their open source issues don't get any better. That's just my speculation. I like Bamboo. The quality of their printers, you know, they made a name for themselves. I just don't like. And some people don't care. Some people it doesn't matter. For me personally, I don't like how the closed off they're getting from open source. If they ever don't work with Orca Slicer, I think that would be a big no-no for me. But I think they will be right up there when it goes, especially if they can get that price point and the functionality down. I was looking at thinking about that printer. Well, I was working on it the other day, and the difference between the printer heads, between the two, between the P1S and the Centauri Carbon, I'm curious to see how their filament swaps will be when it comes to their multicolor version, because I noticed that it seems like the entry point where the filament goes in is definitely different on the Centauri Carbon versus the Bamboo P1S and the X1 Carbon. But looks like we're doing good on the print. Let me check the. What do I tell what layer it's on here? Yeah, because right now it's we're definitely going way slower than what it's advertised. We're doing about somewhere between 150 and 300 millimeters per second with this printer, so we definitely can push it faster if we weren't using silk. And since this is going to go on the Print and Pretzels mobile cart, we want it to look good. But I'm trying to see what layer it's on right now. Not seeing where that says flow filament. Oh, for some reason the layer section on the fluid doesn't tell me what layer it on. Let's see if it says an Orca Slicer. No, not so much an Orca Slicer either. Oh, so I was just told I should tell a story on why I had to work on my printer this past weekend. So I thought it'd be a good idea to take our, in theory, it should be a good idea to take our printer as a display unit to the Art and Craft Fair, the Gold Coast Fair here in Ludington, Michigan. And I did, but I didn't think about what filament I should be printing in and what temperature it was going to be outside for the weekend. And it was out in the sun. And my fiance, love her, she actually even asked me when I was taking it out there, oh, you're printing in PLA? Oh yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be in the shade. And so she, props to her, she knew enough about 3D printing to know that PLA is not good out in the heat. But long story short, about 2 hours into, because the art fair opened at 10 a.m., about around noon, when it was starting to get really warm out and the sun was peeking over a tent, shining on it. I feel the need to speed at me too. I noted I went out to the front of the tent to check the printer, and in the AMS, the filament width had gotten to like almost fish string. I had to shut the printer off because it's getting melted. I should have been printing in PET G because I think that would have been probably more temperature resistant, or if there's another filament you guys would suggest as a display unit if we're doing outdoor events to do, just to have them see what it looks like, because a lot of the kids were fascinated by the printer, and so were the parents. Were like, wow, how does this thing work? And for the first 2 hours we were good, but the rest of the fair not so much. I'm going to be releasing a video on how we powered that printer for the brief period of time, and the rest of our stuff in the booth pretty soon. I used the Anker Solix C1000 and the expansion battery BP1000 to power it, and I powered the booth the entire weekend. I didn't even have to use the additional solar panels that I used, and I used the LED Bamboo P1S there. And I had a bunch of light boxes printed in there. We even had our glow booth. That's a UV little box you can stick your UV prints into to see what they look like. All of that was powered by that power station. I didn't have to charge it. I think I was left with about 45% of the power station battery after the weekend was over. Feel the need to speed. Well, Iceman74, if you want to send me an email of a good file link that we can print for the next, for this coming Wednesday, from what we can test out and what filament you suggest we be printed in, I would love to try that out on our next live stream and really crank the speed up. Maybe like double the speed and then eventually triple the speed. Because right now I think we're at like 300 at most. I'll have to like put the locking wheels on my little mobile station here, workstation. But I think it would be cool to print something really fast. All right, I don't know if you guys can see or not, but the top of the bin, where the drawer is going to slide in and out, the Gridfinity stuff seems to be coming out pretty clean. Like, it's going to slide in and out of there pretty nicely. Even the magnet holes are, you know, we're starting to get to the top of the magnet holes for that first one, and the overhangs aren't, when it comes to around the circle, they're not like deformed in any way. So we're doing pretty good. But if you guys have any final questions, I'll probably wrap up the live stream here in the next couple minutes. This is definitely fun. We'll be doing this a lot more. I'm enjoying this. Thank you guys for your answering the questions and the Q&A stuff. This is fun. Be sure, if you haven't already, like and subscribe to us on Facebook or YouTube here. Like us on Facebook. I'll be doing a lot more of these. We all get to learn together. That's what's the cool part of this is for me. We get to show off our new printers. Check us out on Patreon if you haven't already. It's the coolest way to support us on the channel. And then if you do suggest a file, and it is chosen on the print and pretzels, I'll send it out to you after it's done. Thanks, Iceman74. I really appreciate it. I look forward to the next one too, guys. Again, if you have any suggestions on what we should print for the next one, this coming Wednesday is going to be the next one, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, be glorious.